Hi, I'm Grant Ivey, Vice President of Santa Barbara Navy League aboard USS Ronald Reagan in Pearl Harbor. And next to me is Lieutenant Ron Flanders, the new Public Affairs Officer aboard USS Ronald Reagan.
Hi. Just want to welcome all you guys aboard. We are actually getting ready to get underway here, Grant, from Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, on our way back home finally after a 3-month surge deployment, and you'll hear about that throughout the show. I just wanted to welcome you guys aboard. We have invited the Santa Barbara Navy League aboard for what we call our Tiger Cruise. Tiger Cruise is where we embark family members and friends of USS Ronald Reagan crew members, and I can think of no greater friends of USS Ronald Reagan than you folks in Santa Barbara, and especially the Navy League.
Well, thank you, Ron. We're looking forward to the Tiger Cruise. It's back to San Diego, and we'd like to take this opportunity for the Santa Barbara Council to show what you in the past have put on board in regards to ship enhancements, which have had a tremendous effect on the ship's morale, and we just wanted to initially start out and
Absolutely.
start the tape rolling.
And I just wanted to say, as we start off, that the most important thing, or one of the most important things to combat readiness of USS Ronald Reagan is the crew's morale. Those enhancements that you talked about, we're very pleased and very lucky to have them. And in the past 15 months here aboard USS Ronald Reagan, these sailors have been at sea for 12 of those 15 months. So all of the enhancements provided by the Santa Barbara Navy League have been a big boost to morale. To tell you a little bit about what we're doing here on this Tiger Cruise, we're going to get underway here momentarily, and we will pass outside of Pearl Harbor and go by Battleship Row, the USS Arizona Memorial, all of those ships that were lost on December 7th, 1941. And then just past that is the USS Missouri, the Mighty Mo, the battleship Missouri, where the surrender documents of World War II were signed, and our sailors will actually render honors to our fallen shipmates there on the Arizona as we head out. And then, as we go out of Pearl Harbor, we'll do a number of different evolutions for our Tigers, including an air show, and you're going to get to see all of the air power demonstrated by Carrier Air Wing 14 here aboard USS Ronald Reagan, and we'll take you around the ship and show you stem to start what we do here. So we're excited to have you.
Well, you know, all our aircraft carriers, but I think especially USS Ronald Reagan is a national treasure. The amount of technology and all the hardware here is impressive. Anybody who spends any amount of time on this ship is most impressed with the crew of the USS Ronald Reagan. Over 5,000 men and women who just do an amazing job here every single day. So people ask me what's great about my job. It is absolutely the people that I work with every day keep me pumped up.
How important is it to have that diversity in your crew, from the guy who washes the dishes, to your position up here? How important is it that their role in the success of the ship and the overall operation?
Sure. In the Navy we say diversity is our strength. We have sailors here from all 50 states, from more countries than you can imagine make up this crew, and it's just a rich tapestry of people from all different walks of life. We celebrate different cultures here every month. We'll pick a different culture, and they'll share those aspects with other members of the crew. So it's just a great mix here, and it's very common to have sailors from 5 different states or countries when you bring a group of 5 of them together and watch the teamwork and the synergy that happens. From sailors who may have grown up in an area and really not encountered people from other areas or other countries before. It's interesting to watch the interaction and the growth that takes place.
You guys have spent the past 3 months in the Western Pacific. Give me an idea of what the purpose was of this most recent deployment, some of the missions that you can talk about,
Sure.
that you can disclose. What was your overall purpose in that area?
Well, first off, we got about 2 weeks prior notice before we were required to fill this surge deployment. The surge deployment ended up being a 3-month deployment for us. And the reason we went were a couple reasons. The first reason was the USS Kitty Hawk, which is forward deployed to Japan, is actually at a maintenance period. That's another aircraft carrier. And the USS Stennis, which was going to be patrolling the Western Pacific, actually got called into the Gulf. So that left a gap in the Pacific, and we were selected to fill that gap. We kind of thought it might be coming, but still, it was short notice. But under the fleet response plan, we had to be ready to deploy within about 48 hours when we're tasked. I was extremely impressed with how this crew ramped up to the challenge. I didn't know how they would take it when I broke the news to them, and they were excited. They were ready to go. And the ship and the Sailor Wing, we got together again, and we left 2 weeks later. Now, the flip side of that is the impact on our families, which is never easy. A lot of people have made plans to have babies and do a lot of other things since we were not expected to be deployed at that time. My hat's off to those sailors, and we have a lot of single parents here as well. We picked up, got on board this ship, and went out for the mission. And I think it was vitally important that we deployed to the Western Pacific. We participated in exercises with the Japanese, with the Koreans. We had very important port calls in Japan, Korea, and also Hong Kong. To kind of solidify our relationships there and added the security and stability of the Pacific region.
There's been a lot of emphasis on North Korea, of course, over the last couple of years with nuclear negotiations. Our own governor has been out there within the last couple of weeks, and he had a very successful trip out there as well. As part of your deployment out in the Western Pacific, how much focus did you have on that region while you were out there, providing security out there in a very tense situation?
Well, this was, our deployments are planned well in advance, even though it was a surge deployment. So we were filling in on normally scheduled exercises and port calls for the region. It was what our mission was while we were out there. There's always a lot of other things going on around us. We pretty much stick to our mission there of working with the regional navies. The Chief of Naval Operations has a vision of a 1,000-ship Navy. That's not 1,000 U.S. ships. That's the ships that we can get together with and other navies that we can work with at any time. That ability to coalesce a force, as we showed, and working with many different countries, I think is a key aspect of the direction that we're going in the United States Navy.
And you have an extensive history with the Navy. You've flown the prowlers. You've been out there. You're very familiar with what these guys do out there. And I imagine you've been aboard a lot of different carriers and different ships. How does the Ronald Reagan compare with capability and technology to what the rest of the world has?
Sure. We used to have an extensive history in the Navy. That's a nice way of saying I'm old. The Ronald Reagan is the newest of the Nimitz-class carriers. We're the 9th of the Nimitz-class and the newest aircraft on the water. We have a lot of evolutionary upgrades on board this ship. When I go all the way back to my first couple of ships, the USS Coral Sea, the USS Midway, which is now a museum in San Diego Harbor, the improvements are revolutionary. But the one thing that stays common in aircraft carriers is you get a lot of bang for your buck. The ship is designed to last 50 years. We won't have to refuel for about 23 more years. The last commanding officer of the ship has not even been born yet. So aircraft carriers, I think, are a great investment. They're built for the long haul. And who even knows what kind of aircraft will be flying off this flight deck, 40 years from now. But these carriers stick around long after I'm not doing this job anymore. But sort of the technology here is impressive. Our information runs now on fiber optic networks. Every sailor has access to email and internet. We do video teleconferencing for meetings. We also are able to arrange that for families, so people can actually talk to their families via video teleconference while we're underway, which is fantastic.
And that technology leads me to my next question. The Ronald Reagan is the second to last in the Nimitz class. The next is the George H.W. Bush. Is that correct?
That's correct. CVN 77, which has been christened but not yet commissioned, is the George Herbert Walker Bush. After that, we'll step to a new class of aircraft carrier, the Gerald Ford class, which will be the number CVN 78. It will look much different than the Nimitz class. It's a totally new class of aircraft carrier.
And what have you heard about some of the technology that will be available in that class and how it differs from this one?
Well, it's going to have the most up-to-date, it's going to be nuclear powered, but the nuclear plant is going to be much more efficient, much more up-to-date than the one we have here. The configuration of the flight deck will be a little bit different. The island will be shifted aft, I think, just a bit to allow for more flexibility. I think it will require less people to run the ship, which is another cost savings for the Navy when you look at the investment in a sailor from cradle to when he retires. So there's going to be a lot of efficiencies that we're going to build in to CVN 78.
And you said you have roughly about a year left aboard the Reagan. What happens after that? In terms of your future, where do you go from there?
Well, I could use some shore duty. We've been deployed. We've been underway a lot on this ship. and so I'll be happy to get a little bit of time short when I'm done here. They'll drag me kicking and screaming off the ship. There's no better job in the military. I'm a little biased, but I don't think there's any better job anywhere than being the commander of an aircraft. Good evening, mighty Ronald Reagan team. This is the captain. Have attention, please, for a few announcements. Well, first off, I want to say thanks to our outstanding supply department and all others who assisted in a great flight deck picnic today. The bridge team took good care of us, kept the winds down, and boy, it's just a beautiful day. Also, my hat's off to the outstanding Ronald Reagan Color Guard Rifle Drill Team. Once again, I think it was the best show they've ever done. Very much appreciated by all of us folks there in the audience who can't do any of that stuff. Very nicely done. So I want to thank everybody for a great flight deck picnic today. Well, it's turned into all day it's been a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful evening up here on the bridge. We're heading east. Right now we're about 1,300 miles from San Diego. Sometime tomorrow we'll reach the halfway point, the point of hopefully no return as we continue our trek to the east and heading back to San Diego. Also tomorrow there will be some flight ops. We'll get a few confidence hops out, so if you've never had a chance to look at Cats and Traps from Vulture's Row, or you didn't get up there 2 hours prior, come on up and you can enjoy watching some flight ops tomorrow. Got some kudos to pass out. 2 new babies from medical dental department in the last 24 hours. First off, HM3 Wuthridge. His wife gave birth to a healthy baby girl the morning of 16 April. Jordan Wuthridge, 7 pounds and 8 ounces. And congratulations to them. Lieutenant Commander Crosby, our old anesthesiologist, provided the anesthesia for the birth. And then also Lieutenant Commander Hernandez in dental has a new baby girl, 7.5 pounds. The baby is doing well. Name is TBD. I'll have some recommendations for you, Doc. Today in naval history, a couple things. 1924, the Navy commenced relief operations in the Mississippi Valley floods, lasting until June 16th. In 1947, an act of Congress gave the Navy Nurse Corps members mission rank. Well, speaking of superstars, sitting in my chair right now is MM2 Surface Warfare, Jeffrey S. Barnes from Reactor Department. He has done some amazing things while he's been here. He's been here since August of 2005. He's qualified senior rate in 10 months, which I'm told is nearly a record. He's got all kinds of other quals, including enlisted surface warfare specialist qualification. He's the assistant work center sup in RM12, and just doing a great job down there, setting the example. And very happy to have him up on the bridge today. Also happy to have his parents, Steve and Peggy Barnes, are up here with us. Though they live in San Dimas, California now, he's originally from Kalispell, Montana. Of course, you all know Kalispell is being located in Flathead County, very close to Big Mountain Ski Resort and Glacier National Park. So if you see MM2 running around working on his quals or heading down to the spaces, give him a pat on the back. MM2 Surface Warfare, Jeffrey S. Barnes. So Ronald Reagan, Sailor of the Day.
Now we're at sea, and can you explain to us what's happening with this underway replenishment? This ship is now coming alongside of us. Can you explain that type of evolution, which is loading fuel and how much fuel this ship can hold?
Sure. Of course, USS Ronald Reagan is the 9th Nimitz-class carrier, which means that we are nuclear powered. That gives us a tremendous amount of flexibility. We never need gas on here, only once every 25 years. But we do need jet fuel to power the aircraft. And because we are nuclear powered, that gives us more storage capacity for the ordnance and the jet fuel, which keeps our air wing able to operate for longer periods of time. It actually gives us more combat power to be on station. So the Erickson is going to basically send over shot lines, and we will pull over the fuel hoses, and you will see our sailors from our deck division bring those hoses over, and we will take on the jet fuel from them. And that's one of the things that nuclear power provides, is more capacity for jet fuel.
I understand you can take 6,000 gallons a minute fuel as looking at the hoses being coupled into the coupling area. 6,000 gallons of fuel is one tank truck and trailer full a minute, which is a lot of fuel that can be transferred. We'd like to take you around the ship, show you this awesome ship. The numbers are astounding. So we'd like to show you a little bit about this ship and the numbers, and then take you around and show you the ship enhancements that have been aboard and put aboard, and perhaps some ideas of future enhancements that Santa Barbara is thinking about contacting the Navy about putting aboard.
One of the things we like to do during Tiger Cruise is show our Tigers as best as we can. You know, we've been out in the 7th Fleet. We've operated with the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force, or their Navy equivalent, the South Koreans. All of our real mission is over, so we're heading home, but at the same time, we would like to give you Tigers and you people at home in Santa Barbara a taste of what our combat power is. And the best way we can do that is by an air power demonstration, which we're going to do right now. Basically, we're going to take about 17 aircraft and launch them off the flight deck using our steam catapults. We use those to launch the aircraft off the decks, and then from there, those aircraft will be performing a variety of high-speed evolutions, flybys. Actually, the FA-18 Hornets and Super Hornets will be launching some ordnance, actually dropping some bombs and firing some guns off. They're at a safe distance from the ship, just to show sort of an impressive show. We also have our SH-60 helicopters with our EOD teams and our rescue swimmers. So these are a lot of the things that we show each one of our different types of aircraft. The EA-6B Prowlers, the E-2C Hawkeye aircraft, which is a propeller-driven aircraft that we used as a early warning radar aircraft. All of these aircraft taking off so the Tigers can see each one of these in the air and flying by the ship and demonstrating some of their capabilities.
One of the things that the crew, when they get aboard USS Ronald Reagan, notice immediately, and what the Santa Barbara Council put on is the Walk of Fame. And right through this door, we're going to show it to you. So let's go.
And of course, the first star is Ronald Reagan himself. And second is Nancy Reagan, Nancy Davis, because that's when it was.
Hellcats in the Navy.
Hellcats in the Navy. And then we come to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is the Walk of Fame going into the crew's mess, in which the crew gets fed buffet style.
After the Walk of Fame, you enter the crew's mess, where the enlisted sailors spend a great deal of time. They eat 3 to 4 meals a day. On the ship, we serve up to 20,000 meals daily, because with the embarked air wing, we have over 5,500 sailors on board. It really is a floating city, and a lot of the crew spends a great deal of time here on the mess decks. As you get past the Walk of Fame, you have this here. And one of the things that you guys help provide is a Hollywood feel to the mess decks. Right here behind the salad bar, we have a mural of all of the movies that President Reagan was in that dealt with the military. And one of the main ones that we like to promote here is Hellcats of the Navy, which of course starred Nancy Davis.
And this is the Chief's mess. This is where the Chiefs eat, and they don't let officers down here except for with special permission. This is done in the theme from the Reagan Ranch, Rancho del Cielo. So this is there's a lot of stuff that Santa Barbara put on here, and the Chief's Mess probably one of the best in the Navy. So let's show you some of the ship enhancements that Santa Barbara put into the Chief's Mess.
And this is a mural in which is painted in honor. John Barletta from our council was able to come and unveil this many years ago. But it shows the ranch, Lake Lucky, and the Western White House. A lot of the pictures here that we have gotten from the Ronald Reagan Library and had enlarged and put into the Chief's Mess to continue on with the theme. Also, we were able to get these plasma TVs, which are the envy of the fleet. And this is where the Chiefs eat, supposedly the best food on board ship. The chiefs also have a nice cabinet here for display, including busts of Nancy and Ron, the president, a book by John Barletta, Riding with Reagan, a log from the ranch in which was given to the chiefs when the ship visited back in 2005. And other Navy leagues around the country have also donated, including a 1860 replica cutlass from the Hollywood Los Angeles Council. And so it's something to kind of show the sailors that they are appreciated when they're out at sea protecting our country deployed.
This is Officers Wardroom 3, in which Santa Barbara Navy League put a lot into, especially the pictures on the wall. And we have plasma screen TVs for the enjoyment of the crew when they're eating. They can catch CNN News, which is amazing out at sea. And we did all these pictures here we're going to show you. And also the Chinaware is on display. We purchased 750 Chinaware sets for entertaining dignitaries that will come aboard.
This is the logo of the Ronald Reagan, the Navy League, and also given by the Santa Barbara Council, Navy League of the United States. This is a display of the china that is aboard, that was given to the ship just a little bit after commissioning, including saucers and a whole bunch of other stuff, but it's nice and it's all displayed and used by the officers and dignitaries.
One of the big advantages of having such a nice wardroom is the ability to entertain the foreign dignitaries. In our last deployment, the surge deployment, we held receptions in Australia and Japan and Korea, and we had admirals and other very large dignitaries from these important allies come to our ship. And this is where they eat, in the wardroom here, Wardroom 3. And we do use some of our nice china to leave a good impression. It's important for us when we're in these countries to practice détente and diplomatic courtesy with them. One of the main missions of an aircraft carrier and one of President Reagan's enduring legacies is peace through strength, and also being able to leave a lasting impression in a theater without ever firing a shot. One of the ways we do that is by hosting these dignitaries and having a first-class operation on board, especially right here in Wardroom 3.
And now we're going to show you the captain's import cabin and meet our cruise director, the ship's secretary. So come on in.
Hi, I'm Chris Kepler, Ship Secretary on board USS Ronald Reagan. Welcome to the import cabin.
And the import cabin was modeled after the Reagan's favorite room in the White House, the Red Room. And this is what they call the import cabin. Lots of memorabilia. The commanding officer's desk. And actually this desk here is Ronald Reagan's desk on loan from the library. Pictures, and one of the few cabins to have portholes. And the captain also entertains dignitaries in this room for lunch and dinner. And there's the Ronnie Bear. This shows you one of the rooms that was decorated for the Ronald Reagan. And also there's the Santa Barbara Dolphins in the import cabin.
Thanks, Grant, and the rest of the Santa Barbara Navy League. This is my wonderful office. It was a fine gift. It's one of the centerpieces that the ship and for visitors. And as you can see, it's not only color coordinated, but it's entirely functional. We back up even for formal events like executive officer inquiry. We have plenty of space for it. I have a comfy meeting corner, a great video center, a nice display place for some of the trophies the ship gathers as we go all around the world. And in total, it's not only beautiful, but very functional. It's also a comfortable place to work. Have more storage than most captains of ships, and it's just an impressive show place. That's We really, really appreciate it.
So this is the best Exos cabin on any carrier?
As a matter of fact, it is.
The best for the best.
The amazing thing is they managed to make it this functional with this much storage and also this comfortable, as I've said. So I'm very, very privileged to have walked into such a place, and we really appreciate it. So thank you.
That was the Exos cabin, and this is the Exos conference room, which Santa Barbara also helped put together. This is where the EXO has its staff meetings, and we also bought the plasma TVs and put in this nice Ronald Reagan partition. So Santa Barbara has a little bit of influence on this ship. And what are we looking at?
We're looking at a banner that Dixon Reagan School sent from Dixon, Illinois, where he grew up. And the kids all sent him messages to the ship when they were deployed.
This is the chapel, which is the next area that needs to have some enhancements.
Hi, I'm Jillian Robinson, or HCFN Robinson, and here we are in the Internet Cafe, where but the sailors of USS Ronald Reagan come to email whoever they wish.
Santa Barbara Council put this in, and this is where they keep in touch with their family and friends and email pictures. And right now they're running the catapults, but this is what Santa Barbara Council put in, and it's called the Internet Cafe. This is the movie theater, and we're looking at the stained glass windows provided by Santa Barbara for the chapel, but right now they're sitting out here in more of the Internet Cafe area. And if we walk through here, there's a movie theater on board this aircraft carrier, and it's about a 50 seat with a plasma, and the sailors, when they're not on duty, can enjoy movies. And it's a little thank you for their service to our country aboard USS Ronald Reagan. And if we go through this door here, it's the Nancy Reagan Library. Here's sailors they're starting to pack up, but this is where they can check out books and also study and read the periodicals.